everybody. Welcome to Revival Town Podcast. I'm Chuck Tate. That's Andy King.
Chuck Tate, I know that you have been looking forward to this recording today.
I really have.
Even though it was last minute.
Spontaneous. Yeah, how about spontaneous?
You have talked about this a lot.
Right.
Over the months, like, I got a friend I want to come in. I know it may fit, may not fit what we're doing. But
we'll make it fit.
We'll make it work. So we'll get into our guest in just a minute. But I know that you have been telling me that you've got a story. But I've got a story as well.
Okay.
That happened this week.
Okay.
But for those who are joining us today, we have Jason Williams with us, OJ as he's known.
Yes.
And we are really excited to have you on.
It's a pleasure.
And the reason why I'm introducing you right now is because I know that once the stories start flying, people are going to hear you laughing. And so...
Indeed.
I don't want them going, what's that third voice? Like,
well, you know what people may not know is Jason has been a part of RockChurch, the church that we planted in 1998, and we are celebrating 25 years Sunday.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what they may not know is Jason and his wife Sarah have been with us all 25 years. They've been on our elder team all 25 years. Jason has been on our worship team schedule rotation for 25 years. One of the best bass players that can thump the bass.
Absolutely.
He always brings the groove to RockChurch.
Yep.
And then he's also our tech director, so he's in our staff meetings every week, and he's just one of my best friends of all time. So you want to know how I met him?
Come on.
Oh, man.
Here we go.
All right, so it begins. When I was in high school, the youth group that I was attending at this Assembly God Church, my friend Billy and I signed up for this trip. We didn't really know anybody. We were new to the youth group, and we went to Six Flags.
Yeah.
Well, sitting on the bus on the way to Six Flags was this guy with this infectious laugh.
Yeah.
And he was eating a box of crackers.
Ritz.
And we noticed that by the time we got to Six Flags that he had eaten the entire box.
A big box.
So we just said, hey, it's Crackers. We gave him a nickname, Crackers. And we've been friends ever since.
Yep.
So we got Crackers on the show today.
So there you go.
But we call him OJ.
Yeah. So why OJ?
Well, you want to tell the story, Jason?
So I like orange, and I had an orange motorcycle. One of my main bases of my out-of-hand collection, one of my main bases is orange. And then the main thing that really made it stick was back in one of the bands I was in years ago when I had longer hair. I did
longer hair on top or beard?
On top.
or on your back.
Well, that's always been long.
No,
call me Bear Rug. But no,
I want a sweater like that.
Oh, yes. Yes. I'm always warm. But I did this silly thing, and I did this light red color to my hair. I thought I'd try something fun and, out of the ordinary for Jason. And unfortunately, in the summer, my hair blondes out really bad. Well, when you put red dye, hair color in your hair, and your hair blondes out, your hair is no longer red. It's orange. So
he had this long, orange hair.
Unbelievable.
Now, for everybody that's watching, you notice that there's not long hair anymore.
It's long gone.
But so now it's all in his beard. He's got the baddest beard of anybody I know. He's got a cool beard going on. But back to the orange hair.
So after the orange hair, it was Chuck and one of our old friends named Lyndon. They just gave me the nickname OJ.
Oh, so
LP and Chuck. It stuck ever since. They both. I don't know which one of them started calling me that first, but.
But here you are, OJ in the studio. So I told Andy, we need to have a special episode called Ask OJ, where we just ask OJ random questions, because I've told a lot of people, I've even said it from a stage before on a Sunday, if I ever make it on any type of game show that's trivia related and I need a lifeline, I'm calling OJ.
He's that good.
It's that good.
It's useless knowledge, gentlemen. Useless is the underlined word there.
Well, before we get into the questions, I have got to share this story.
Oh, man.
Yes.
And this happened yesterday at the Dream Center. So, anything can happen at the Dream Center, right?
Right.
Anything.
Oh, man.
Right. I believe that.
So, I'm walking out to my car, and what looks like, what I thought was one of our homeless women was mowing the yard.
Oh, no.
So, you know, I do.
Was she using a mower?
Yes.
I didn't know if she was just pretending out there mowing the grass.
She was using a butter knife.
So I didn't want to like interrupt her because she was enjoying it. So
yeah.
I get in my car, I call our housing director, and I said, Christy, I said, do we have one of our homeless women cutting the grass? And she lost it. She's like nearly peeing herself. Like, Andy, things happen here all the time, but no homeless person is cutting the grass. I said, okay, I just want to check. I said, well, you need to check who is. And
because you know, obviously you teach people trades.
Correct.
You know,
yeah.
and you help women that don't have a place to live,
Sure.
and small children.
And also,
but you don't expect them to be out cutting the grass.
But here's the deal. Also, we have had a lot of like community service help. So people will contact us, say, hey, I've got to do hours. So I'm thinking, oh, it's one of the
community service.
Right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. We have those some people that do community service at the church.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I get in my
In fact,
car.
I'm getting credit for the podcast.
So I said, okay, Christy, no problem. Well, about an hour later, Christy calls me. And she is rolling. She's like, hey, you know you thought that was a homeless lady cutting the grass? I said, yeah. She said, it was. It was one of our homeless ladies. She went up to her and she said, what are you doing? She goes, this is when I find so much peace in cutting the grass. And she's like, well, how long have you been doing it? She said, I've been doing it for 3 weeks.
What?
And apparently
No one knew her.
Yeah.
How'd she find the mower?
Exactly. That's what we're asking. So
Yeah, one of your neighbors is like, hey, you guys, we were missing a mower.
So we've got to. I mean, we're going to find out like where'd she store it? Because we see her every night without a mower. You know what I mean? But we were rolling.
Oh my
like,
goodness!
So every week, and it's because for her mental state.
Wow.
So we are actually
It's therapeutic.
Yeah. So we're actually going to talk to her about doing it, doing it for us.
Wow, that's really cool.
I bear witness to that. When I mow, I love mowing.
Oh,
it's like a getaway almost for me.
Yeah,
Getting
yeah.
on the.
But we just weren't expecting one of our homeless guests to be doing it. Bring your own mower.
Yeah. And you don't even know where she got the mower.
No.
Hopefully, she got it from the ministry and around the corner.
It may be from the trade.
Yeah, from the
'cause
trade.
We fix the mowers all the time.
Yeah, they got a lot of them.
Well, hey, we used to have a guy at the church that he was mowing a hill and he fell and cut off part of his foot. I'm not joking. I don't mean to laugh.
Why you're the pastor? Why are you laughing?
Well, if you knew this guy.
Hey, I hide my cripple real good. Okay, I hide it really well.
This guy was he's a good guy. I used to give him a ride. He was a special needs guy. He was a special needs guy, and we loved on him and we welcomed him to RockChurch. Sure. And I went to the hospital to see him when this happened, but you know, he was somebody that I got to tell the story.
We are not going to get through this podcast.
We tried to help him all the time, and his nickname was Moose. He's a big dude. He barely fit in my car. And
He looked like a linebacker from the Bears.
Yeah, and I you know, we always helped him. And because of his upbringing and some of the things he'd been through life, you know, sometimes he didn't always tell the truth. And I would pick him up and I would bring him to church, and I would always feed him. He would always get a double quarter pounder with cheese meal, large fries, large Coke at McDonald's. We called it a moose meal. And sometimes he would text me and just say, I sure could go for a moose meal.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, all right, I'll come get you, Jeff. And I'd go pick him up, take him to McDonald's, give him something to eat.
It was precious.
You know. And, well, one day he called me, and we helped him a lot. And he called me and he said, hey, I'm stranded in North Carolina. I said, what? He said, and he just gave me some story. He was at some payphone, and he said he was at the hospital. And so I said, okay, well, what's the name of the hospital? And he was like, all right. Well, let's just say that his story did not add up.
I don't think they have a Pekin hospital in the Carolinas.
He wanted money,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And I said, listen, Moose, if you need money, if you just need money, I'll help you. But don't lie to me. I mean, don't tell me you're in North Carolina and you need a bus, because he said he needed a bus ride home. Yeah, he had been in the hospital, but you know, no hospital there with that name, and you know, so I'm not lying. I'm like, you know, hey, listen, man, I'll get you some money. We'll get you a moose meal. Just, oh man, and he just, yeah, he told me it was legit, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'll get hold of you later, right? Yeah. So that day, I went to a Bradley game, and at halftime, they had the Special Olympics basketball team come out. Guess who's playing at halftime on the court?
The Moose.
Oh boy.
I yelled, and I'm not kidding. I yelled, Moose! And he turned around, looked up at me, and I'm like point at him, and he was just, so yeah. Anyway, yeah. So, but yeah, he cut off his foot, my one.
Whoa.
Yeah, but they put it back on. He saved it, but yeah, it was bad deal. But what a crazy story! So the homeless lady's cutting the grass for 2 weeks.
So we got
We'll send her to RockChurch.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
Praise the Lord.
You got a lot of grass, so yeah. So that's good. Well, Chuck, why don't we jump into talking to OJ?
All right. Well, I mentioned earlier that Jason is the tech director at our church. So all things technology go through him. He's also a gearhead with bass guitars and bass amps, and likes to talk about the bass tone. And
I like the bass.
Yeah. So I thought we'd begin, and he also knows a lot of history. True story. Me and him got pulled over on the way to go to a ski retreat. This is several years ago in Nebraska. The police were convinced that me and him were hauling drugs, and I got put in the back of the car. Not him, I did. But maybe we'll come back to that story. But anytime we go on a trip, and we've been on a lot of road trips together,
yeah,
we can pass a lake in Arkansas, and he's going to give me the history of the lake. He's going to break it down. That used to be an Indian burial ground, and then he'll just random stuff. But right
useless
now,
knowledge.
We're gonna talk. So just tech-related questions. So first question, Jason, is this: what tech item or app that people love are you refusing to try?
Oh, man.
Or is there an app out there that everybody talks about and you're like, nah?
Yeah, I'm not on the... so my thinker don't work as good anymore post-COVID. It's a little cloudy. Not TikTok, but what's the one that...
Snapchat?
Yeah, Snapchat. So I've never had Snapchat.
Okay.
I've never used it. I'm not really been interested in it.
Yeah.
I know what it is. I know all about it. I just haven't. It's just an app that I haven't done, you know. And even my kids go, Dad, you need to get on Snapchat. And I was like, no, I don't really want to. All the other social media apps, I'm fine. I don't need another one.
That's I'm the same.
I'm the same.
I created an account.
Yeah.
All my accounts are Chucky Tate, and I just
look at you getting promotion.
Come on.
Did you see how he did that?
He's slick.
You wouldn't see me do. You wouldn't see me do Andy Britt.
Andy Britt, what?
That's it. At Andy Britt.
That's it. Andy Britt.
Yeah.
So there you hear it, guys. Go follow Andy Britt at Andy Britt. Andy Britt at Andy Britt.
It is.
But not on Snapchat. Oh, Snap. No Snapchat.
Yeah,
I agree. I don't like Snapchat.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
My kids use it. They have streaks. They do these streaks forever. And I'm just like, my wife's on Snapchat.
Well, my wife, she would be like, you're the techie. You need to follow all the kids on all the devices. I'm like, I'll be there for years.
I'd lose my mind.
Oh, yeah.
All four of my kids. Oh, my word.
Yeah. So, but no, I'm not a Snapchatter.
Nope.
No. What about you? Do you use it, or you
I don't use it. In fact, I deleted it from my phone. I still have an account.
Yeah,
but I deleted it. I'm not gonna. No thanks.
All right. So are we just going through these?
Go for it.
By the way, if you're looking for Christian content in this podcast today, there probably is going to be zero.
No, we'll still pray. We're gonna pray at the end. Oh, hey, I'm a preacher. I'm gonna find a way to tie it all together.
Oh yeah. We'll pray.
We love Jesus, and he's behind everything. He's gonna find his way in this. Come on.
Okay, so would he use Google Maps or Apple Maps?
Google Maps.
Oh no.
Yeah. So Google. I'm not picky, except Apple Maps. They don't have. I've been led too many dead ends and wrong roads with Apple Maps. In fact, the last time I used it, I was in Chicago, and it was taking me a route. I thought I'll try it in Chicago. Certainly Chicago, they're going to have it straightened out. Apple Maps took me on a road that the bridge had, not only was the bridge out, it had been out for 2 or 3 years. It was still there, but it was closed, and it had been closed a long time, and Apple didn't know, and Google, of course, routed you the right way. So that was the last time Apple Maps works good, except it doesn't have, and I think it's just because Apple Maps not had the data that Google's been doing it, gathering data for routes for 30 years. Apple Maps is 10, so it's just.
Well, Apple Maps.
I've got a funny story about
it. It has gotten better though.
Yeah,
Apple Maps has gotten better.
Yes, and the longer they run, Apple Maps will continue to greatly improve. It just, I've been burned too many times.
We've had Dave Jane on the.
Yes,
I love Dave.
So Dave, he's all into tech and everything.
Yes.
So Dave says, hey, go and check this out. And so he had been following the Google Maps truck. You know, the guy
with the cameras on us. Yeah.
Yes.
He saw him turn down his driveway. And so he stood outside his house and was doing this as it went down and back. So if you ever type in his address, it's his old address now because he's moved. But if you type in his old address,
no way.
There's Dave going like this.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it, man.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, okay. All right, Chuck, go for it. Go.
All right, my question: when you're online and you are surfing the web, do you accept cookies?
Oh, that's a good question.
It depends
on what kind of cookies they are.
Yes, if they're iced chocolate chip or chocolate covered Ritz peanut butter crackers, I accept all of them.
Well, we know you like all crackers. We covered that already.
No,
Now people are like, wait, I thought they were talking about online cookies.
What are cookies?
Because there's people that don't even know. Yeah, explain.
Yeah, what are cookies?
People don't even know what cookies are.
Oh gosh, cookies are tracking. It's a tracking bit in the software that lets them know that you've been there, and it helps them do advertising. And it's for the most part it's harmless. Sometimes they're not.
Wait, so if you hit no, you'll still be able to get onto that website, or
you might have some limits. It might not
give you access to.
Yeah, there's certain way, and usually they'll tell you if you don't accept cookies. There are parts of this page they might not like, especially a storefront or something.
Sure,
it might limit. But a lot of times I accept cookies because I'm going to get ads anyway. If I'm going to get ads, the cookies give you the ads that if I'm going to get an ad, I'd rather get one from Sweetswater on a bass guitar than a Victoria's Secret girls' pajamas or something, right? I'd rather not get those ads.
Right.
I'm going to probably remove all the ads anyway, but if I'm getting the ads, so I accept cookies at a lot of the places I go. Usually they tell you they're doing it. If you go to a website and there's no cookie accepting, they're probably lying to you because they probably have cookies anyway.
Yeah. Well, this happened to me last night. So I think I sent you the video, Chuck. So I get random videos on Instagram that I'm bombarding him all the time, funny ones. But John Christ was doing this new promotion for Chick-fil-A. Did I send you this one?
Oh, wow.
Actually, you sent it to me twice.
Oh, yeah.
He must have been hungry.
And it's a new thing that Chick-fil-A are doing that is cauliflower. Instead of the chicken, it's cauliflower, like in the batter.
For the healthy. Yeah, vegan.
It looks good. I mean, I love cauliflower, so it looks good, right?
Yeah.
But while I was on that site looking on the Chick-fil-A, it says, do you want to accept cookies? I was like, no, I want the cauliflower.
We need some cookies and milk right now.
Oh man, I could have some.
Oh man. Okay, here's a question for you. Do you feel that technology stifles or encourages creativity?
So it depends. That's a very, so if you use technology with your creativity and use it to all of its power, man, it's incredible. It's like, I mean, you can, we have a friend, Mike Knoll, amazing artist, one of the best artists. And I watch him draw on an iPad Pro.
Yeah.
You know, the iPad Pro has the really advanced pen technology, right? Like so he draws as good on that as he did on his old paper pads.
Yeah.
He's letting technology explode, and he's way quicker with it, because before, when you have to change a color in your drawing, you're either grabbing another pencil, you're doing the paint.
Right.
With that, you just tap.
Yeah.
So he gets this masterpiece done in half the time.
Yeah.
And he can zoom it. I mean, so the technology, but if
my son does that. In fact, Michael is a mentor to him.
Yes.
So yeah, it's crazy.
So I mean, and then, you know, in music, but at the same time, there's also something to be said, like if you're a poet, writing in calligraphy.
Yeah.
That old school, you know, there are some things that technology could stifle, I think, or affect. I don't know if it's going to stifle it, but no, I think technology can, man, in my world, the music world, what we get to do, the recordings now, what we can do, you know, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, you had to go to a Nashville or LA or New York studio and spend, you know, thousands of dollars on thousands of dollars of equipment. And now, if you know what you're doing, you can have a laptop.
Yeah.
And if you know what you're doing with the digital fake plugins of the, you know, they're fake versions of the actual hardware devices that are super expensive, you can make it sound as good or better with just a laptop. And if you know what you're doing, it's unbelievable what the technology does. Yeah. And it brings that. Before, so many musicians were never going to be able to go to Nashville and spend $100,000 in a world-class studio. But now you can bring that studio in your bedroom.
Yeah, I know, you know, my son out in LA, Clay, he is producing a lot of music, and he's a phenomenal musician, left-handed.
Yes.
I knew he was good the day that, you know, he's a left-handed guitarist, and got to church, and all that there was a right-handed guitar, and he took it and turned it upside down and still played it.
Right.
He, like, that blew my mind.
Yeah,
right?
that's.
But now in his little house in LA, the apartment they've got, he's got a studio, is churning out music, and people are using it. But
he's done some big stuff. Hasn't
he?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, I was going to mention this because we always talk about what we watch on TV and stuff. One of the best documentaries that I have seen in years.
Give it
it's on Disney Plus right now, and it's the new Ed Sheeran documentary.
I've seen the write-up on that. Yeah,
it is one of the best documentaries, because they went out to record a year of his life as an artist, which they did. But in February of last year, his wife got cancer. And then right at the same time, his best friend, who found him, as in talent-wise, 31 years of age, dies.
I didn't know that.
And so the whole documentary and the new album that just came out this week is all about life. And even at the end of it, he talks about that he truly believes that there is a place where we go when we die. Obviously,
the Lord's planting some seeds there. Some people
definitely stuff going on. But one of the things with Ed Sheeran is he packed out Wembley Stadium, which is 95,000 people, 7 nights in a row, and it was just him. There's no band. He creates everything
on looping machines.
Every night.
Vic Vicker does. We had Vic Vicker a few weeks ago on the podcast,
and he was telling us on this documentary. He said, "I wipe everything clean every night. So every night, it's brand new." And he shows it on how he does it. Unbelievable.
Major creativity there.
He could not have done that without technology.
No.
50 years ago.
No.
Right.
You know, so incredible.
Wow. Well, when I used to live in Nashville and work at this recording studio, I was working with. No. Okay. My next question. I have a hard enough time connecting my hearing aids to my phone.
What'd you say?
Don't we know it?
All right.
Oh, man.
Jason, do you get frustrated by people who are less tech savvy than you?
Only if they act like they are more and aren't.
That's good.
I think I'm the same.
So,
Okay.
but people that don't know, no, I'll try to share, and help them, teach them, or give them a hand, give them, if they don't know more. No, so that doesn't frustrate. But I guess what frustrates me is when the best example I can give is doing a show and someone is supposed to have a PA or a sound system or producing it, or whoever's putting it on, and says they've got it covered, and you show up and they have
A boombox?
like a Fisher Price level speaker that you could sneeze and blow up into the mic. And, and that's happened recently with one of my bands. This was supposed to be a big show, and we brought a larger band from Iowa that we wanted to jam with. We brought them, and we get there, and my jaw hits the floor when I walked in and saw what they had for a sound system.
Wow.
I mean, I couldn't believe it. It was... I was speechless, which you all know. That's kind of rare to get me speechless.
Whoa.
But it was and he was like, oh, yeah, he's talking. This is going to be awesome. And it's like, I didn't say this because, you being nice. You always be polite. But it's like, inside I'm going, this is not awesome. This is not good. So now I'm going to have to work 4 times as hard to make us somehow make this work. Because there was no time because I have a really nice PA, but there was no time to go get it.
Yeah.
So stuff like that was extremely frustrating. He actually believed it was good. And with a rock band, you have to have a decent PA, or it sounds like,
Man, I'm so sorry I brought you guys in.
So that's the only, that's it.
Okay, if you could design the smartphone, what would you make it do that it doesn't do now?
The Star Trek thing where extra. So these phones almost do everything that a tricorder would do, but there's the medical from the show back in the day where these things can do heat vision, they can do microscope, macro lens things. They can do just about everything, but they still can't scan your body and see if you have a broken bone or how's the blood flow going. Ooh. So that kind of scanning medical technology,
let's
the
get Dr.
diabetes
Sam on the
stuff.
line. Let's
do it. But that would be, and I don't think it's quite possible to do that yet. But I know it's probably coming soon because 15 years ago, if you said what these phones do, just 15 short years ago, we would not have. It would be Jetson stuff.
Absolutely. Even just the GPS.
Yes. And what the cameras do.
Yeah, and remember the movie Minority Report with Tom Cruise?
Yes.
I mean, that's all real stuff now.
It's coming,
watched that,
a lot of that.
That's crazy. So I have another question. What do you think about AI? Because AI all of a sudden is just blowing up. Talking about,
I was just watching something this morning from the UK, and it's a guy who, one of these guys from Cambridge, right, who, studies this stuff and is part of this world. And he said, we need to take a 6 months to a year pause on everything AI because it's getting too weird.
Yeah.
AI is for me, and I'm a weird tech dude with all this crazy knowledge bumping around in my head. And I can honestly say, there's always been a lot of conspiracy people and talk about things. The first time in my life that I am taking pause and looking at this going, is the level of AI that's happening now. Because, again, just like that creativity thing, used correctly, it's as big as the wheel in the bow and arrow. But the potential is how it's going to be used, like with woke crowds or nefarious people, the power that it gives you. So AI, it's not the robotic. AI is getting so powerful that it can sound like it has personality because the computations are so fast. It can sound like it's actually answering and not pulling from a database. It can actually, it's so powerful and fast. It's like it's thinking. It's really not thinking. It's got so much databases to pull from, so much information.
Yeah.
It could quickly find the right answer. So it's not actually thinking, but it's acting like it does. And when you have access to that kind of power, used incorrectly, I mean, I can see how Revelation is going to be, you're starting to see how Revelation can be legit now with this kind of technology, with how the world could run.
This guy today, he was saying, how when he said we're not talking about Siri or Google, or because you're asking a question and it's just answering,
Yes.
right? This is where these AI things are literally reading every book made. So anything that you're not only asking it, but like you said, it's like it's thinking and then can come back at you.
Yeah.
And he said that is where we need to pause, because he's thinking
Like,
everything.
wait a minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just a few days ago, my son was messing around with an AI. And AI stands for artificial intelligence, for anyone who doesn't know. But my son was using this filter on Snapchat, AI filter. And he, in the car, he was showing to me, and he was asking questions about me, and it was spitting out everything there was. It was freaky.
Yeah.
I'm the author of 41 Will Come, all these different things.
It's pulling it from databases.
Yeah. But
From the information.
It was amazing how fast it was and how much data was available. It was freaky. But yeah, like you said, the book of Revelation, we can see now how some of these things that the Apostle John saw
Yes.
could very much
How do you
take
describe
place
it?
today. Yeah, how the way he described it, he couldn't describe it because this type of technology didn't exist when he had the visions.
But it's also, there's that negative, but it's also some really cool stuff to use for, and just how the Air Force and their fighters, you know, Siri, here's one of this useless bit of information that Chuck jokes about all the time. Siri and Apple Voice and all that stuff, it's from a base program called Wolfram Alpha, excuse me. And it was legally put out there by DARPA. DARPA put it out there. They developed, I can't remember which university, and Apple, Amazon, and Google all bought it. I think Microsoft did too. It wasn't like a trade. However they purchased it, it wasn't a trademark where only one could get it. And then they built off that software and make it into their own. But, you know, I know an Air Force pilot, and he says, and it's all top secret, but he says, it's awesome.
It was until you're going to tell him.
Well, he doesn't talk. He doesn't give details of what it is. I want the details, but he can't talk about it.
Right.
But he says, what's in the cockpit of the F-22 stealth fighter? Where that's what it was designed for. You got to remember, the stealth fighter is now like pushing 30 years old.
Yeah.
Even though it still looks like it's from future Batman movie. But he said, as amazing as Siri and Alexa and Google Voice is, and they're amazing, he says, it's so dumbed down and stupid compared to what we have in that cockpit. It's not, he goes, it's Star Wars level stuff in there. He goes, you wouldn't believe it if I told you some of the stuff it can do.
Wow.
And how fast it is. Because the Air Force, the workload is so big, they didn't want to put two people. The Navy usually has two pilots, so the Air Force didn't want to do that. So how do you make the workload easier on a single guy in a dogfight when he's got to concentrate on flying? But you're looking at all this technology, all the radars, the missiles, the guns. So he can just focus on fighting, and all he does is fire missile 1, fire missile 2, radar, put it on heat-seeking mode. Put it on, zoom in, zoom out. He just commands it everything so he can focus on fighting, and this computer, this AI, runs the entire jet.
Gee, that's amazing. Wow.
It's like, I want to know what it does.
Yeah. Okay, what gadget excites you?
Oh, I got to pick one?
Oh,
What gadget excites me? It depends on the week. Like I bought the latest Mac Mini with the M2 chip.
Oh yeah.
Recently, I had a really awesome Ultrabook before, but because I'm OS agnostic. I'm not one of these guys that Mac's easier. It's like Windows and Mac. Yep. Take your mouse, you put the pointer on it, and click it. It's real easy, folks. They both do different things very well, but it's basically if you can run a mouse.
Talking to the wrong two guys sitting here with their MacBooks.
I know, but I can see. I got iPads, I got Android, I got Right now I'm on iPhone, but that Mac Mini with that new, they did come on something with that new chip technology. Right. You really don't need a graphics card unless you're doing movie level rendering. It's a little tiny Mac Mini, and it's my recording. It's how I do my studio kind of for music, but that's an amazing little piece of technology. That little computer, it's a powerhouse.
Yeah.
And for the first, usually Mac stuff is super expensive, but it's affordable.
Yes. Yeah.
They've gone the other way. You can get affordable Macs that are really powerful now. So that was probably my favorite. And then, I don't know if it's technology, but I got these new bass speaker cabinets that are, I don't know how they do it. Mesa Boogie, this company, and this brilliant designer, he's found this wood that grows in northern Italy, and he makes these big bass cabinets that you normally would weigh 80 pounds, 70 to 80 pounds. It's a big bass cabinet built like a tank, like it's made out of bricks. And you go to lift it up, and you almost lift it up and bump your chin, because instead of weighing 70 pounds, it weighs like 30 pounds. It is the most heavy-duty, solidly built, lightweight piece of gear I've ever in my life messed with.
Wow.
And I guess this wood they use only comes from somewhere in Italy, in southern France or something, or Switzerland. But and how they made the speaker instead of the technology of the speaker weighs nothing, and it's a big old 15-inch speaker.
Man.
So how they figured out how to make this massively powerful, awesome sounding speaker weigh 30 pounds, I will never know, but it is amazing.
Wow.
There you go, guys. That's
All right, so I
just learned something.
I got a question. The question is this: what do you love about Chuck Tate?
Oh man, I think he just smells so good all the time.
And not just Chuck Tate, but RockChurch and what Chuck represents. You know what I mean?
So,
without crying.
Yeah, darn it. No,
without laughing.
That's
what I meant. Laughing, crying, same thing, isn't it?
Right, so there's two levels here. There's Chuck as the pastor, and I've been a close friend of Chuck's for decades now. So first as a pastor, and RockChurch. So there's a lot of good preachers and pastors out there, and there's a lot of good pastors with a pastor's heart. But Chuck, he defines what a pastor's heart is. He has that shepherd's heart for people. And, sometimes I try to say this at our anniversary or at our pastor appreciation services, or months.
Yeah.
That so many people do not know how much work he does that you never see behind the scenes, visiting people at hospitals, answering all those phone calls. And it's brutal trying to answer all of the Facebook and Twitter and Snapchat, TikTok stuff that he answers with people.
Yeah.
Because everyone, when you're messaging a pastor, it's the most important thing. And if someone doesn't answer you're offended. I mean, Chuck spends hours and hours trying to answer everybody, and it's just endless. And so, but
I do fail all the time with that.
Yeah. Well, it's impossible to do it. Yeah. But Chuck is a true pastor.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, that's what makes RockChurch special. His personality, and also he's a comedian every week. We have this pastor who's a comedian and on top of being a pastor, so it's hilarious.
He thinks he is.
He thinks, oh! Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But
I need a new app.
So, it's like, I need a new app. So, and Chuck is not he doesn't, from the pulpit, he's loving, but he always shares what the word is. You're always going to get the word here. What does the Bible say? What does Jesus say?
Yeah.
What did Paul say? Always.
Yeah.
Always at RockChurch, you're going to get that with the love.
Yeah.
And that acceptance. We're known for how you just come as you are at RockChurch, but the other part of that is the love, and at the same time, you're going to get the word. It's not going to be an ear-tickling word. It's going to be a loving word, but it might be hard.
That's what I love about Chuck, and we talk about this a lot. And the church that I go to, our pastor as well as Chuck are friends, and they could literally stand on each other's stages and preach the same because they believe the same. And the thing that I love about Chuck and John, my pastor, is they're not scared to hit the tough questions, but answer first with truth.
Yes.
And then love, right?
Yes.
And there's a difference. You can be hard-headed and just give the truth and there's no love, and so therefore no one listens. Or you can go the other way where it's like, is that really in the Bible? No, it's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But with Chuck, you get that. You get truth and love, which is so good,
Yeah.
Now you owe us $100 each.
I know.
Yeah, you got to pay me.
Thank you guys.
So, and then on the other side of it is the friend.
Yeah.
Not the pastor. He's my Chuck is my friend, but he's also my pastor. If I'm doing something stupid, Chuck knows he has the right to call me on it.
Right.
And I do a lot of stupid stuff.
What's the real reason you're here today, Jason?
Yeah.
Let's get into the meat of it.
But no, and then
Sarah texted me.
Oh no.
Go.
But then it just as a friend, we're just kindred spirits and laughing, and we can a lot of laughing yet loving and talking about the Lord, talking about road trips, just whatever it might be. It's just
well, I mean, we're the only ones that are going to get pulled over. And even after
Yeah.
telling the police officer, I'm a pastor, he's an elder at this church, we're going to a ministry trip, they didn't believe. He called for backup. They brought dogs.
Yeah.
They went through our luggage. They were like, no, you're hauling drugs. They put me
in the back of the car.
In the back of the car. Not him, me in the back. But here's, you said kindred spirits. So, and I think we did share this on a previous podcast, but it makes it even more funny now. We were just in Colorado for a ski trip a few weeks ago, and I fell down the stairs. I felt like an idiot. I went and sat in the bed in the room we were staying in. About 15 minutes later, he comes hobbling in. He fell down the same stairs. We both
fell down the stairs. What's wrong with us?
And the skiing trip you went on, you couldn't ski.
No, we couldn't. It was bad.
Yeah. Yeah, and the cop that pulled us over, he came in and go, I told you guys. These guys can't even walk downstairs. No. But no, I appreciate the kind words and the love. Thank you. I mean, we're celebrating 25 years, and our friend Dave Mudd's going to be delivering a message.
Right.
And we're doing a live podcast, just so you know. Yeah. Andy's going to be there, and we're going to do a podcast where we're going to record it in front of a live audience.
And so we're recording it on the Sunday night, but Sunday night, Monday morning, it will be available for everyone to listen to.
Yes,
So
yeah.
next week's podcast will be literally, apart from a few hours, live from your 25th anniversary as a church.
Yeah, yep. And
So it's
Jason's
gonna be
going to be there.
incredible.
He's either going to be playing bass or running sound. I don't know. I mean, you'll be there doing something.
I don't know what we'll see what the worship pastor Lance has me doing. I don't know. We'll find out, but we're going to have fun. It's going to be awesome.
Celebrate. Well, man, you know what? We always ask our guests to pray, and we've had a lot of fun. We've joked around a lot, but it is a blessing to have great friendships. The three of us,
Amen.
do life together, and there are people listening today that maybe don't have that, and perhaps they're hurting today, and maybe they've laughed a lot, but inside they need Jesus to move in their heart. Would you mind praying for us?
No, not at all. Lord Jesus, we come before you, Lord, and we thank you that you hear our prayers. Your word says that when two or more gather, you hear. And we're in agreement, Lord, and we do lift up anyone out there that's listening right now that's hurting, that whether they don't have a close friend right now, or they're hurt from a friendship, or they're lonely, and that loneliness, it can get dark. Well, that can get so dark, Lord, and it's debilitating sometimes, so much so. And so, Lord, we just come before you and we ask you to minister to anyone out there going through that. Lord, let them know how much you love them. Jesus, let them know that you are alive, you are real, that you love us very, very much, and you walk with us through these horrible valleys. But the nice thing about a valley is if you keep going, you always come out of it, and you come to the mountaintop. So we pray, Lord Jesus, that you can give some folks out there hope. Give anyone who is out there hurting, give them the hope, and let them see the light. Let them see the mountain that's coming. If they keep walking and ask you to be with them and help them, that you listen, that you come, that you carry us, and that you will take us to that mountaintop out of that valley. And we ask for that in your name, Lord. Thank you that you hear our prayers, and that you love us and that you care for us. And we ask these things in your name, Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Amen.
Yeah. I love you guys.
Oh, boy. Well, you know what we normally do is the big three.
Right.
So
Oh,
I think
man.
we got to do the big three still.
I think so. Yep.
The big three. What's
Yeah.
the big
I'll-
three?
Well, you're about to find out.
These are three
No, I know.
questions that are all about you. Thanks for listening to the podcast, because if you listened, you'd know what the big three
I
was.
know what's coming. I said I know what it is. I'm trying to be goofy.
All right, so Chuck, why don't you, being as you're the pastor and the bishop in the room, why don't you throw something at him?
I just never knew I'd be on this end of it.
All right. Jason, top 3 burgers, go.
Oh, wow. The my favorite is in Washington, Illinois at the Brick House, because they wood fire their burgers, wood fire cook them. Okay. My second favorite is probably the Rail House in Pekin.
Okay.
I love their burgers there. And then
You're going local.
All
right.
Oh, I've been all over the United States traveling for. I've had a lot of burgers, but the ones I think of happen to be Illinois. It's one thing we have good. We do have really good burgers.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'll go a non-local one, even though we have one here. Five Guys.
Oh yeah,
because I can be in North Carolina, I can be in Texas, I can be in Idaho, and if the Five Guys burger, I get it anywhere, it tastes as good as it does here.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're just consistent and they're in pure burger.
Yep.
So good.
All right. So obviously you're a musician.
I don't know about that, but I got everyone fooled.
Favorite 80s band?
I was going to ask.
Man, my favorite's probably one a lot of people have never heard of. It's King's X. Although they started in the 80s, they're still going. But if that's one of my favorite bands of all time. But I guess a pure 80s band. Man, there's so much. Probably
Debbie Gibson.
Oh my God. Oh my word. I haven't thought about Debbie Gibson in a long time. No. I'm embarrassed to say I never thought about her ever, guys.
Wait a minute.
Hey. Probably
off the outer board.
Probably some original Dokken. Okay. And
is that like Tolkien or what?
So George Lynch
has
a new album out with Michael Sweet.
Yes.
From Striper. How cool is that?
So probably some Dokken, and probably Barren Cross, a Christian band from the 80s.
Yeah. All right.
The State of Control album. That one. That's ones I.
That's a good one.
I like so much music. I like so much of it. It's hard to pick one. I like a lot of 80s music. Right.
Okay.
So I just pick one.
The reason I'm laughing is because guess out of everyone I know, who introduced me to Mariah Carey?
Oh no.
We were on a road trip.
Driving and crying.
He was like, "You got to hear this magical voice." And
her voice was magical. She made the hair to the back of my neck stick straight up, man.
We went through oh man, it was so.
Well, you were missing Annette, and so we're taking this road trip to Canada, driving. It's like, okay, Chuck, don't you laugh, don't you dare laugh, because we're all metalheads, And then I said, but don't you dare laugh, but you got to hear this new album. This girl, she sings like an opera singer with pop music. It's amazing. So we put it in. He's like, you weren't kidding, dude.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Well,
I've been outed now.
This story has got to come up because it is probably one of the best nights we three with a bunch of others have ever had.
Oh man!
When I got us all tickets for Switchfoot,
that was epic, dude.
And John Foreman sat on my lap.
Yeah. We are not joking.
That is the truth, man. That is the truth.
All I remember is he. If you've ever seen Switchfoot, which by the way, this weekend they have relaunched Beautiful Letdown.
Yes. No way.
25 years.
I listened to a little bit of it.
Smokes.
And they've redone it, done the whole album.
They
that's
redid
a
it the
great
way
record.
The way they want it to sound. Not a record company, record label. Anyway.
Ooh.
So, but I'll never forget, if you've seen Switchfoot, John Foreman always comes into the crowd. Well, we were like, 4 rows from the front?
3. I think we were third rows, yeah.
And he comes off the side and, he stands on the chairs and he gets to our row and then just starts coming along it. And I'm looking at Chuck, at Jason, and then my son, Ethan, and we're like, and then he came and it was like me, it was Chuck, me, and Ethan. And we were the ones having to hold him up.
Yeah. And I had my phone out.
Chuck had his phone out trying to get selfies.
I remember our friend John was with us, Kylie, and his eyes were the size of golf balls. He was like, I can't believe he's right there.
It was like a ballad. And we were like,
we're looking up at him. Oh, the camera footage has to be epic, man.
Oh yeah. Okay, is that? Have you got one more?
That was the best concert ever.
That was awesome.
One of the most memorable ones I've ever been to. We only did 2 questions. Last one, favorite bass player of all time. Go. One person, one name, favorite bass player ever.
Doug Pinnick.
Okay, King Sex.
Yep.
All right.
There you go.
Easy.
All right.
Pino Palladino is a close second, probably.
Clay is still hanging with him. My son, he comes to his coffee shop every week. Pino.
Wow.
I have got to go hang with your son for a week in California so I can shake his hand.
Comes in and hangs.
Living legend.
Yeah.
Man.
And he's from Wales, which is crazy.
Yes.
So, okay, that's John Mayer's bass player, in case you were wondering. But all right, well, Jason, it's been amazing having you on. But there's one last thing, being as we're doing the show.
Tate.
And his mates.
Tate and his mates.
Tater mates. Yes. I want that on a T-shirt.
Oh, Tater mates. Okay, keep talking because I've got one here and I just lost my page.
I'm so glad I get somebody to help me.
Oh man.
This is gonna get me.
This is hard though,
I'm not
because
gonna be
you go
helping
to
him.
England and you study English people and things. So, but I was. Let's see. I've got to put it into context, right?
That's one of those words. Oh no.
Let's see.
Oh no.
I just need Chuck Tate to sling his hook. Did I do this last week? Did I do this last week?
I don't think you.
Did you say
you don't want me to
sling your hook?
his hook?
Sling your hook.
You did this one already.
I have. Okay. All right.
Well, wait a minute. I haven't heard it yet.
I need Andy to sling his hook.
Sling your hook. Sling your hook.
What's your hook?
Yeah,
Jason, you gotta sling your hook.
You know what? Let's see if I can even remember what it is. We just did this recently.
You better remember some word like that.
Yes.
A sling your hook.
Wait. Got to do the music.
Oh,
London's calling. Huh?
All right.
We got a little clash. There's some bass playing, baby.
There you go. Okay, sling your hook.
I'm going to guess picking your nose with your finger, like picking your nose or something. I don't know. I don't know. You darn limeys. You got all kinds of weird words like your bonnet and your loo.
Pick your nose?
I don't know. Doing something with your fingers, your hook, isn't it? I don't know.
How about
slinging
this?
boogers?
This podcast has gone on too long. Jason Williams needs to sling the hook.
Yeah.
Get lost.
It means to get lost.
Sling the hook means to get lost.
Get lost.
How does anyone that speaks King English even come up with something like that? Sling your hook.
Sling your hook. Oh,
It must be a maritime word.
We could think of a few people that Jesus loves, but they still need to sling their hook.
They probably do. Yeah.
Well, Jason, it's been great having you on today, and hopefully people will come back next week and listen to us.
In the name of Jesus. I'm so sorry, guys.
I think every now and then we need to bring Jason on at the end of the show for Tate and his mates and just have a little short Ask OJ segment.
I think we should. For sure.
Oh, anytime, guys. It's
All
been
right.
an absolute pleasure.
And for everyone listening, I'll get a new Tate and his mate word without just looking down and then saying it and then realizing that we did it 3 weeks ago.
Well, you got me pretty good. I had no idea.
There's at least one person in this room that's a plonker. No, we're all plonkers.
We're all plonkers.
Well, thanks again, Jason and Chuck. Always great doing this with you. Make sure you're checking out Revival Town Podcast on social media. Also on the and that internet thing.
The World Wide Web.
That's what it says, yeah. Make sure you're checking us out and letting people know, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Revival Town Podcast. Make sure you're following us on social media and remember to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. For more information, head on over to revivaltownpodcast.com.
This podcast is part of the Edify Podcast Network. Edify is a faith-inspiring app that brings together thousands of the best Christian podcasts in one place for your listening enjoyment. Cut through the noise and grow your faith by diving into the world's top Christian podcasts today. Download the Edify app for free from the App Store or Google Play, or by going to edify.app. That's EDIFI.app.